that starting at price you're seeing in Celina and Prosper is not what you're actually going to pay. And I need you to hear that very clearly up front, because that is where I see people make some of the biggest financial mistakes when they're building. I'm not talking about being off by $5,000 or $10,000. I'm talking about buyers walking in thinking they're buying a $600,000 home and ending up at $720,000 or $750,000 or maybe even pushing $800,000. And here's the part that frustrates people the most. It's not that they couldn't afford it. It's that nobody explained where the gap came from until they were already emotionally involved. And once you're emotionally in, it becomes really hard to walk away. So what I want to do in this video is pull back the curtain on how all of this actually works. We're going to walk through where the price really starts, how builders structure pricing, and where people accidentally add 6 figures, and how to go into this process in a way that protects you instead of surprises you. And stay with me until the end, because I'm going to break down the exact type of buyer that should build in Celina versus Prosper, and the type that absolutely should not, because this decision is not just about the house, it's about the lifestyle after you move in. By the way, my name is Tiffany Caballero. I am a top 1% agent here in North Dallas, and I've helped close over $500 million in home sales here in Dallas-Fort Worth. We're also #1 in closed volume of relocation clients, and we'd love to help you as well. So definitely call or text me. So let's start with the number that pulls you in, and it's that starting at price, because that number is doing exactly what it's designed to do. It's making you feel like this is within reach. You see prices like $500,000 and $600,000 and maybe even low $700s, and you're feeling like, okay, this could work. This feels doable. But here's the reality: the number is the base price. And the base price is basically the version of the house that almost nobody actually buys. It's the stripped down version, the bare bones version, the version without the things that made you fall in love in the first place. Because if we're being honest, you didn't fall in love with the base home. You fell in love with the model. Everyone does. And the model home is a completely different price point. You're walking through it thinking, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want. I could see myself living here. But what you're actually seeing is a home loaded with upgrades. And this is where the disconnect starts, because now your expectations are based on something that doesn't match the number that brought you in. And that is where buyers unintentionally start building a home they were never budgeting for. Now let's walk through where the price actually starts moving, because this is where it adds up fast and most people underestimate this part. The first thing is the lot. And that is something that a lot of people don't think about. Not all lots are the same. You've got standard lots, you've got corner lots, you've got oversized lots, greenbelt lots, and lots with better positioning. And every upgrade in location comes with a premium. It comes with a lot price. Sometimes it's tens of thousands, sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's 50 or more, depending on the community. I've seen them at 300,000. So before you've even touched the house, your price is already going up. Then you move into a structural upgrades, and this is where the price can shift in kind of a big way. This is where you're changing the layout of the home. So maybe you're adding square footage, extending a room, changing elevations, maybe upgrading ceilings, adding sliding doors, adding a media room or an extra bedroom. These are not small decisions. These are kind of big ticket items, and once you choose them, you're locked in. Structural can't change once it's done. And this is where people start saying things like, well, if we're building, we might as well do it right. And that mindset is exactly where budgeting starts stretching. Then you get into the design center, and this is where a lot of people have their biggest wake-up moment, because everything's so pretty in there. This is where you go in thinking maybe you'll spend $10,000 or $15,000 and you walk out adding $40,000, $60,000, sometimes $80,000 without even realizing how it happened, because you want that upgraded flooring. And it's not one big decision. It's a bunch of small ones that all feel reasonable. Better cabinets, nicer countertop, upgraded flooring, different tile, better appliances, a nicer staircase, maybe some updated lighting. None of those feel excessive on their own. Nobody walks in saying, I want to spend an extra $70,000, please. But they do walk out saying, I don't want my house to feel cheap. So there's the conundrum. And that's the difference. You're not upgrading because you're trying to go over the top. You're upgrading because the base options don't match what you saw in the model. And that model is what sold you. So now you're trying to close the gap. and that gap costs money. And here's the part nobody really talks about. This process is not just about pricing, it's about psychology. Because once you pick the community, you pick the lot, you walk the model multiple times and really start designing your home, you're mentally in. You've already pictured your life there. So when upgrades come up, they don't feel optional anymore, they feel necessary. You start saying things like, well, we've come this far, I don't want to regret it later, this is our home. And suddenly going over budget doesn't feel like a bad decision, it feels like the right decision. And this is exactly how people end up hundreds of thousands of dollars over what they originally planned. Not because they're irresponsible, because the process makes it feel justified every step of the way. So now let's talk about how this plays out differently in Celina versus Prosper. Because even though both areas have a ton of new construction, they don't hit the same way. Celina tends to pull people in with price. It feels like opportunity, it feels like getting in early, getting more house, getting more value, and that's why so many buyers are drawn to it. But here's what's happening. You go in thinking you're saving money, and then upgrades bring you closer to what you would have spent in a more established area. So now the question becomes, are you still getting the value you thought you were, or are you paying more than expected for an area that's still developing and doesn't yet have the same convenience? Prosper's a little different. Buyers go in expecting to spend more. They want bigger homes, higher end communities, really a more polished feel, and because expectations are already high, those upgrades stack a little faster. Everything starts feeling like, well, if we're already here, we should do it right. And this is where I see buyers quietly move into price points they didn't originally plan for, because every decision feels justified at that moment. Quick question for you. If you had to choose right now, would you rather have a bigger, newer home further out, or a slightly smaller home in a more established, convenient area? Because that one decision is going to drive almost everything else we're talking about here. Most people don't realize that until they're deep into the process. Now let's talk about the part that really hits people, and that's the monthly payment, because this is where excitement really meets reality. When your price jumps $100,000, everything increases. Your loan, your property tax, your insurance, your HOA, and then you add on if there's any MUDs or PIDs. That's just an added layer of taxation. So this isn't just a slightly higher payment. This can be a completely different monthly lifestyle. And this is where I see people start to feel it after the excitement wears off, because it's fun when you're picking out finishes and walking model homes, but later when the real numbers show up, that's when it becomes a little bit of a sticker shock. The biggest mistake I see is people falling in love with the house before they fully understand the cost. They build emotionally instead of strategically, and they don't step back and ask, does this still fit the way we want to live? Because there is always a trade-off. Bigger house, different location, more upgrades, higher payment, newer build, less convenience. You don't get everything. Nobody does. The goal is not to get everything. It's to choose the right trade-off that's gonna really fit that lifestyle you're wanting. So if you're thinking about building, here's how you approach this differently. First, go in expecting the price to go up. Not a little, but significantly. Secondly, decide your priorities before you ever walk into a model home or sit down at the design center. Know what matters most, whether that's location, space, budget, or lifestyle. And third, compare your total budget, not just the base price, because sometimes what looks cheaper online ends up costing the same as more established options once everything's added in. And this is where it all comes together. New construction is amazing for the right person. If you want a brand new home, modern layouts, customization, and kind of that low maintenance up front, it can be a really great fit for you. But if you're expecting the online price to be accurate, the process to be simple, and no surprises to come up, that's where people get a little frustrated. Where people win is when they go in informed, they understand the numbers, they make intentional decisions. Where people lose is when they rely on that base price, they make emotional choices, and they ignore the full cost. And the difference between those two outcomes can easily be 6 figures. So if you want help looking at your numbers, comparing Celina versus Prosper based on lifestyle, or even just understanding what it's like to just be all in before you ever step foot into a model home, call me, text me, Reach out however you want. We'll map it out so you go into this confident, not guessing. And if you're still in that research phase, don't stop here, because I have videos where I'm breaking down exactly which neighborhoods in Celina and Prosper are actually worth the price and which ones people end up regretting once they live there. So make sure you watch them, and we'll see you on the next video.